Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will be focusing on variables using the Kotlin programming language, and hopefully by the end you will have a very good idea of what variables are, why do we need them, and will hopefully understood how to write them from the many examples that will hopefully be shown in this video. So let me just jump straight into creating a few variables and then hopefully explaining as we go along, and more at the end as well of exactly what's going on. So I'm going to create a few variables here. The way I do that is I write the word var, which means variable, and then the actual name of the variable, which in this case is my name, and then we assign it to the value of Usman. Okay. Again, I will create another variable, specify the word var, and then its name, which is my age, and then actually I'll make this into an integer. The value 30 will cover what an integer is and how it differs to this. But let's just make one more. Var my address, which is 1 Queen Street. Okay, that's not actually my address, but or is it? Who knows? So three variables. One is called my name, the other one is called my age, and then the last one is called my address. Each one of these has got the word var on it. Okay, and that tells the compiler, create me a variable. This is the name, my name, and the value of it is Usman. And same for the exact same goes for these two variables. Create me a variable called my age, give it the value 30, and then lastly create me a variable called my address and give it the value 1 Queen Street. So what is exactly happening under the hood? Okay, so every computer that you will have probably come across will have something called RAM, which means random access memory. So let's quickly, but not in too much depth, because I don't want it to be a video on computers and what's happening deep into the guts of the computer, but just very quickly so that it will hopefully be beneficial, is random access memory is a place where you can store data in order for the application to run. Okay, so when you boot up your laptop or your computer or even your phone, what will happen is when you open up applications like Safari or Chrome or Angry Birds, that application will use up some of your RAM to store information and to store data. And the more data you store, the more the RAM gets filled up. And so typically RAM will have certain amount like 4 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes or 16, and we always hear these values right in phones, especially like iPhones or Android phones. They always come with a number like 4 gigabytes, 8, 16, 32, 128. This is actually referring to RAM. Okay, and again, it's whenever you run an application, any data, any variables, or anything that it's basically using will get stored onto RAM. So if your computer has got a maximum of 16 gigabytes, and if you're running like 20 Microsoft Words and God knows how many tabs on Chrome and so on and so forth, and you're watching a YouTube video as well, and you're streaming something on Disney Plus, and you're also playing Pac-Man or Street Fighter or some kind of Call of Duty game. Okay, all of this will contribute to the size of like how much you're using up on your RAM. And Windows has got the, I can't remember what it's called, a task manager I think, where you can see all of the different processes that are running. So all of those things that you see are the programs and the processes that are running, and they will have a corresponding value of how much space they are taking up of RAM. Similarly, with Mac OS, which is what I am using here, I've got what's called an activity monitor, and that shows me all of the different apps that are running and how much RAM they are using. So that's a quick explanation of what RAM is. Oh yeah, one last thing. When you close the application, it frees up wherever data it was using, and like whatever data it was allocating to RAM, because it no longer needs it. And I guess the very, very last thing now with RAM, it's not to be mistaken for storage. Okay, storage is the data that's saved permanently. So your photos or your documents that you've saved onto the phone. But when you load up one specific document or one photo, then that does get kind of transferred to the RAM, and when you close down that document, like you're done with it, you've saved it, that then just gets stored to the main storage. Cool. Okay, so let's get back into the program, and yeah, RAM is RAM. So variables. Now, as I mentioned, I created these three variables, right? So create me a variable called my name, that's the value, and same for my age, and same for my address. So if I was to let's start changing these variables, or actually let's print out the value onto the screen. So print out the value of my name, and then print out the value. Print out actually a new line would be good. Yeah, copy that, and then print line my age. So what we're doing here is we're printing out all of the different values for our variables, and then my address is the last one. You can see here that IntelliJ or Android Studio is telling me you've written my AD, do you mean my address? And that is exactly what I mean, thank you very much. And then I'll do another last print line to just for good measure. Okay, let's run this. It's going to take ages to run. It's so annoying when Android Studio does this to you. Let me copy this again and create a new REPL file. Paste that in and then run. Okay, good. Finally worked. So, apologies for that. That sometimes happens. You just have to create a new file, and I don't know. I think a REPL is fairly new and it's got its problems, I guess. Okay, anyway, let's go back to this. So we've got all of our variables, and we're printing them out onto the console here. So far, so good. We kind of expected that, but now, let me clear all of this. Let me paste in our work again. Okay, now if I was to print line, okay, and then say let's change our variables, exclamation mark. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually change these values, right? And this is the beauty of variables. You can specify your variables and give them values, and then later on in time you can change what their values are. So over here I'm going to say my name equals whatever the value of my name is already, plus space over there, Osman, I don't know, can't let's say. Okay, and then the same for my age. I'm going to say my age, and again IntelliSense is making life easy for me, equals whatever the value of my age is, plus 5, so that will be 35. And then lastly, I'm going to do my address equals whatever my address is plus and then I'm just going to put like a comma and then Manchester or something. Okay. And then I'm going to just copy these values here. I mean these print statements. Put them here, and then I'm going to run the program and see what we get. So you can see here the initial value of my name is Usman, and the initial value of my age is 30, and the initial value of my address is 1 Queen Street. Then I print out this statement. Well, let's change our variables, and it's appended my new name onto it because I didn't put new line statement here, but that's fine. So my name has changed, my age has changed, and so has my address. So that's the beauty of variables. You can specify them, you can give them a initial value, and then you can change them. And now let's just clear this and then go back to our code. Okay. So one really important thing here is that if I just delete, let me just clear this stuff and let's just go back to our original examples. These two are very different, right? So this is inside double quotes and this is not, and that's because this is what is called a string, whereas this over here is called an integer. And what these are is that they are different data types. So in programming you do have what are called data types. String is one, integer is another one. You have more, which are double. You can have float, long, byte. All of these different data types can be found on the online documentation. Basically, what they are is you're representing your data in different formats. Okay, so one very quick example is a string is pretty much like any character can go here, right? It's pretty much any character can go inside there. It's all perfectly fine. The compiler will not complain. However, an integer has to be a number, so it can't be a bunch of text, right? It can't be that. And you can see like that's kind of bluish color, and this has gone white now. It's just not a value. And in actual fact, if I was to run this now, having not abided by the rule of having an actual number for an integer, it will fail. Okay, it just won't compile. So let's clear that, go back over here. Now let's run this, and you can see that it's actually assigned this huge string to the variable my name. So press up again, clear the log. You can see that my address does not have, it doesn't specify whether it's a string or an integer. We know it's a string because the same rule applies, right? There's no, it's just any character goes inside the double quotes. As soon as you see double quotes, it means that it's a string. But why does my name have the type? Why are we specifying the type and for my name but not doing it for my address? That's because Kotlin has got what is called type inference, and what that means is the compiler is taking care of the type for you. It knows that because you have because you've put your value in between double quotes, that the value is going to be of type string. Okay, and it knows that because the value for my age is 30, the default type is going to be integer. Although you could have a variable called my long age, you could say, okay, and that type is long, and that's 30. So the value of both of these are exactly the same. The only difference is the type. And the difference between long and integer is that a long has got a much bigger maximum value and I believe a much smaller, you could say, minimum value, or a much bigger minus value, shall we say, than integer. And again, you can look these up. So you can say like long dot max value. Am I able to show you that? I don't think it's gonna actually. I think I need to. Oh yeah, okay. Here we go. Over here, let's just zoom a bit in, so you can see that the maximum value for a long is whatever that value is. It's absolutely massive. And if I say my age int dot max value, so if I go to the integer class, then the value is, the maximum value is exactly that, and you can see that it's actually much smaller than the long dot max value. But anyway, let's go back over here. So yeah, type inference. Now again, it's completely optional. All you have to do is put colon and then the actual type, and then equals and then the value. It's good to note that any the information that's to the left of the equals, we refer to this as declaration. We are declaring a variable. It's called my name and it's of type string. The information to the right of the equal sign is initialization. So we have declared a variable and we have initialized it to the value Usman, and then actually let's get rid of this stuff. So we have initialized it to the value of Usman. Similarly, our age, we're very old. Our age is what was the value again? 214,748,000,000 something or other. I didn't say that right, but there's too many numbers for me to quickly read exactly what it is, but you get the picture. But we can move that back to 30 or 20 or whatever, 40. And then similarly with here, we can say another value, and then this can also change to 35 Downing Street. Okay. Again, I'm going to print out the values, and then we have exactly what we had inside our variables. So what else is there to cover with variables? So much to talk about. You can change them as we've seen. You can pass them over to different functions, which I will be showing hopefully in a future video when we talk about classes and functions and variables, and they all coming together harmoniously. But do check out what the data types are. It's good to have an understanding of the different data types. There's, as I mentioned, string, integer, long, double, float, byte. Just get a brief understanding of what these are by looking at the documentation. I'll hopefully link it in the information below the video. I always find that when I was learning programming, I kept on making variables in a console, like in a terminal like this, and it just slowly started to click what they are and how can I change that information, and I made very small applications with many different variables. So the key to programming is just to keep on doing, keep on trying, keep it consistent, spend as much time as you can, just keep it nice and consistent every day, spend 20-30 minutes, whatever you can, and then hopefully you will become slowly but surely better. Thanks a lot for watching again. I'll be creating videos, hopefully more videos soon, and just let me know what you think and what other videos you want me to upload. Please subscribe, thumbs up if you think I deserved it, and I'll see you soon.